Hello.
Hi.
It's time.
It is.
It's time for what?
It's time for us to finally check out some background history on CLC. So today we're going to check out Mera's guide and just find out more about the group, what went down, all those.
How Cube nearly destroyed CLC.
I guess I feel complied to put allegedly in here.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah. And we went to KCON this weekend, and guess what?
We saw a familiar face on the stage with Jiwoo from Card. We saw Yoon
collabing. Yeah.
She was storming the stage with Jiwoo. They did I don't know the name of the song, but they nailed it.
They did that performance.
Actually, she's a really good dancer. That was one thing I noticed. Yoon is a good dancer.
Along with her usual, like we've noticed in our previous videos that her rapping is pretty distinct. So yeah.
All right. Okay. Enough dilly-dallying. It's time to check out the guide, find out the history, and get caught up. Yeah.
If you like K-pop reactions or you want to join us in our CLC journey, click subscribe. And I don't know why I whispered that.
Is that compelling? If you think that was compelling, click subscribe.
And
we can A/B test that. All right, ready?
If you expected this to be a hate video, you're in the wrong space, buddy. I'm sure Stan Twitter will cover you if you're looking for that sort of content, but not here. This is
Mera's videos always concern me at the start when it's just a black screen. I'm kind of like, oh no, are we missing the footage?
Not a video to complain about the members of CLC. I don't think they're at fault for the things we're about to talk about, nor do I see them or the other artists mentioned in this video as the targets of criticism about their management. If you love CLC more than life itself, or you don't give a shit about them, great, totally cool. I just ask that you leave your opinions about the members, your opinions about the fandoms, and your opinions about the other artists mentioned here out of your consideration for the video.
Mera's good at a disclaimer.
Very concise.
How Cube nearly destroyed CLC. Hobgoblin.
CLC is one of the most confusing groups in K-pop. Not because
really? Because I already thought Dreamcatcher was pretty confusing. So CLC is even more confusing. That's pretty intense.
Concept or music or performance, but in terms of success and in terms of management, CLC doesn't make sense. Their fans would argue that CLC are some of the hardest working idols in the industry and one of the more unique flavors in K-pop, yet they carry a reputation for being criminally underrated. CLC has...
We've been kind of wondering about that because we know that there are other, is it G-Idols from the same company? And they're a much younger group and they seem to have skyrocketed. Whereas CLC, who we personally like the music of, and we're wondering why they aren't more popular, really.
It's probably the company.
Has been around since 2015, which makes them one of the well-established third-generation groups. But they only received their first music show win in 2019, 4 years after debut.
Last year?
CLC is one of those groups almost everyone has heard of, but surprisingly few people outside of the fandom know much about. A lot of people probably couldn't tell you what the letters CLC stand for.
We know this, we looked it up.
Yep, crystal clear.
We also know the fandom is Cheshire.
Yeah.
It's an abbreviation of crystal clear, if you're wondering. As someone who isn't Cheshire, I wanted to explore what about their situation has hindered greater success and whether or not CLC are truly underrated. Are they cursed? Is Cube a flaming pile of shit?
Cursed.
Or is CLC just like the majority of K-pop groups? Completely fine, but not interesting enough to warrant mass attention. Why is CLC's reputation so out of proportion with their success? It all starts with Cube, the company that created and owns CLC. While Cube is not a big three company, they do have considerable status in the industry. For a while, a lot of people thought that outside the big three, the number one company was Cube, until 7 guys came along and fucked everything up. But before that, Cube was one of the few companies that could make the big three sweat, with big name acts like 4 Minute, Beast, and B2B. Only one of those groups is still in commission, take that as you will. At this point, Cube has 2 big groups.
I like a Mera. So this is our second Mera video that we're watching on this channel, but we've had a look at some of her other videos just because we enjoy her format. I also enjoy when she goes, take that as you will.
Beast and 4 Minute. The industry was moving into the third generation, and Cube would need a new group to stay above the water. March 19th, 2015. CLC debuts with the song Pepe, which had a conventional pop sound and a teen girl concept. Presumably, Cube didn't want to debut a group that would compete with 4 Minute, so they gave CLC a cuter traditional pop concept. 4 Minute had been one of the more popular girl groups of the second generation, so the ground was pretty much laid for a Cube girl group to be an instant success. Well, that didn't really happen. This was the first of many, many management mistakes.
That video is...
Is this video from the cute concept? It kind of looks more like an exorcism than anything.
But it's just making me intrigued. We'll have to check it out at some point.
With the lower budget video and promotions, CLC's concept was completely swallowed by an oversaturation of cuter girl pop. Lovelyz, A-Pink, Very Good had debuted in the previous years. In 2015, you had G-Friend and Oh My Girl. Oh, and a little group called Twice. Everyone was doing colorful girl pop in some form or another.
This is like Minx all over again.
I know, right? Yeah.
Only this company should have... Well, Cube's big enough that they should have been able to impact the market a bit.
So where did that leave CLC? Practically invisible. The album underperformed compared to others of its kind, and the music video to this day only has 11 million views.
Yeah, they added
CLC's debut was underwhelming to the point where most people either can't remember it or have never heard of it. Even with so many groups doing similar concepts, it didn't really make sense that a Cube group would debut so poorly, until you take a look behind the scenes. Cube underwent serious changes just after CLC's debut. Switching CEOs for the second time in 4 years, moving the headquarters to a new city, 4 Minute disbanded, Cube Cafe getting evicted and moved, Pentagon debuted, and Beast officially left Cube, to name a few.
That's a lot of change.
Basically, a whole lot of money switched a whole lot of hands, and 2015 had a general air of complete incompetency. Cube lost money by the bucket loads, and CLC's debut projects were eclipsed by a whole lot of fuckery that never truly went away. February 29th, 2016.
So what you wanna do?
Whoa.
That is 7.
That's so cutesy.
In the midst
So
of all the
different.
chaos, CLC returned with High Heels, and 2 new members were added to the lineup, Elke and Unbin. At the time, Unbin was participating in Produce 101's first season, so adding her was both a boon to marketing and a curse to promotion. She couldn't promote with the group, and the attention she brought with her from Produce 101 wasn't usable. Just a side note, suddenly adding members to groups usually comes with a feeling of damage control, which is a pretty good indicator of how things were going for them at the time. The additions of Elke and Unbin did rejuvenate some excitement as well as some criticism, but they weren't enough to bring CLC back into the public eye.
The vibe is
and it
so
gets
different.
worse. This over
It's kind of like watching Dreamcatcher and
I know.
Minx again, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was even more jarring because like Dreamcatcher has such a like dark concept now, but like the CLC we know so far is kind of like girl boss kind of badass vibes. So seeing them,
and it's definitely darker too in terms of like Devil or like Black Dress and No are also all like much.
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird seeing them stumbling around on high heels like fawns when in No we just saw them strutting around. So, yeah, it's kind of strange. Anyway,
saturation would eventually explode into the blockbuster success that is Blackpink, who debuted in the second half of 2016 and have dominated the badass side of concepts ever since. In the same year, Twice hit it big with Cheer Up, and Red Velvet hit top 5 on Gallon with Russian Roulette. Twice was running the game in cute and color pop, Blackpink was holding all of the attention for badass, and Red Velvet was handling basically everything else. The seeds for the top 3 girl groups were sown in 2016, and CLC wasn't one of them. CLC used this debut concept 4 times: Pepe, Like, High Heels, and No OO. And the market didn't have the space to care about another colorful eager-looking girl group with matching outfits and a limited budget. So why were they still doing it? Presumably, Cube didn't want to battle out funds from 4 Minute, who were Cube's bad girls at the time. Having a badass group and a cuter group would give Cube versatility and allow them to expand their demographics. Unfortunately, they released CLC at the absolute worst time, and they promptly became invisible. So what would CLC have looked like without the fear of stealing from 4 Minute? Well, we were about to find out. By the end of 2016, 4 Minute disbanded. January 17th, 2017. If you're not a CLC fan, this is probably where you come in.
Yeah. Complete 180 in concept.
This song really grew on me.
I know.
Like it was good when I first heard
Hobgoblin
it, but
changed the
then
game for CLC. It was not only
Yeah,
the most
like
successful-
even now, like I just start humming like
yeah.
yeah, like while like I'm
Du- du-
cooking
du-
or
du-
something.
comeback at the time, Hobgoblin was a complete rebranding for CLC.
I also like this
The
cat
comeback
one.
had EDM, trap, hip-hop inspired sounds, and a sexy, dangerous bad girl concept. The group was completely revamped. No more promotion issues, no more hiatus. All 7 girls, 6 songs, with the album charting at 6 on the Billboard World for Albums, and Hobgoblin charting at 4 on World Digital Song Sales. Hobgoblin broke open CLC's attention like a piñata. They didn't have casual listeners and diehard lovers anymore. They had an actual commercial fan base occurring on both a domestic and international level. The group had their first official fan meet, and CLC was solidified as a serious contender for Artist of the Year. All they had to do was stay in the game and continue to hold attention with their new, more market-appealing concept. Well, that was fucked. Cube sneezed and the whole tower came crumbling down. Universal Music, Cube's main distributor, basically said, "Fuck you," and sold their stake at Cube. Cube turned to Lowen Entertainment, who'd rebranded as KAKOM, and gave their distribution process over to them. For an image of what that looked like, Lowen had been sitting back in their chair, rubbing their hands together, and waiting for Cube to land on their plate with an apple in its mouth. Produce 101 once again ate 2 of Cube's male trainees, and one of them debuted in 101 for the next year. Cube's money was turning to dust, that dust was turning to shit, and that shit was blowing through the air right back onto CLC. You may not know
That's
this,
some
but
imagery
CLC
there.
actually had another comeback that year, and once again, the management completely misjudged the market.
Maybe send me
A comeback.
the nicest
Comeback.
new
Where Are You was a ballad with a floral airbrushed concept that was completely lost in the excitement for harder hitting songs.
Wait, how did you go from Hobgoblin?
Yeah.
Actually, how did we miss this? I
Yeah.
thought we were going in chronological order.
I guess people like want to forget it or something.
Because we went from Hobgoblin to Black Dress.
Yeah, because well, everyone's recommending like Hobgoblin, Black Dress, No, and then me.
Ah,
So,
so this one didn't
we'll
make.
find out. Like,
Blackpink was on hiatus, and the public was frothing at the mouth for Badass and Powerful. We saw Sunmi's Gashina, the afterglow of BTS's Wings, and even G-Friend's Fingertip was a notable response to the market. The space for Cute was being eaten up by Twice, who released Knock Knock and their mega hit Signal. Just 1 month before Where Are You, Red Velvet dropped Red Flavor, which was the undisputed song of the summer. CLC's return with Where Are You was catastrophic. The music video performed abysmally. The promotions for Where Are You began on August 3rd and ended August 13th, just 10
Well, that's
days
short.
later. It didn't make sense. Hobgoblin made bank for Cube, and despite the money crisis, one would expect some of that to pay off in the next comeback. But you take a quick look at Cube's other functions, and you start to see what was going on. Pentagon had their Japanese debut, and their 3rd Korean EP, and their 4th Korean EP, and their 5th Korean EP.
So they're prioritizing
Instead
the
of
guys.
promoting both groups, Cube pushed CLC into the background after their most successful comeback and put their active money on Pentagon's Japanese marketing and domestic returns. CLC finished the year with 1.5 comebacks, and Pentagon finished with 4. For all intents and purposes, CLC was suffering for another group's success. CLC wasn't nominated for a damn thing that year and took home no wins. It wasn't a total loss, people knew the name CLC. The public had seen them hold their own with the Girl Crush concept. But the money that Cube had lost in 2016 and felt through 2017 had devastated CLC's production budget. Where Are You was a blow to CLC's new fan base. 2017 was one of the most expansive years in K-pop, with girl groups exploding into success, and after their first brush with critical and commercial success, Cube benched CLC and took their money elsewhere. Where Are You was an excuse to put CLC on the chopping block. Something to note. Come 2018, Cube would announce that 2017 was a successful year for them, the likes of which hadn't been seen since 4 Minute peaked. Let's say that Pentagon's Japanese debut was the most expensive project that year. With Pentagon's multinational success and Hobgoblin's revenue, Cube had more than enough money to give CLC another fully fledged comeback on par with Pentagon. They just didn't, and we were about to
Why?
find out why.
Okay.
2018 saw the return of Girl Crush, now welcoming darker concepts and international attention. In the first month, Red Velvet released Bad Boy, which was one of 2018's #1 charting songs. In 2018, CLC reached their third year in activity, still with no first win. Things did not look good, and fans began to wonder if CLC was ever going to come back.
Yeah, the whole thing with the scissors though kind of freaked me out a bit.
On February 1st, 2018, CLC released Black Dress. Finally, it seemed like CLC was returning to their Girl Crush concept that had brought them success earlier. Black Dress had EDM, powerful dancing, and an expensive music video. The style and budget of Black Dress shot through the roof. Fans breathed a sigh of relief when Black Dress dropped. It was a callback to Hobgoblin's power and surprise, now with an even better budget and a fresher style. Black Dress peaked at 12 in South Korea and remains CLC's most viewed music video. Fans were beginning to hope that Black Dress would give CLC their first music show win and reorient CLC as a powerful girl group.
Oh god, what
And
happened?
then, the attention for CLC just stopped.
Huh.
People didn't care about Black Dress after about a course of 2 weeks. Just 3 days after Black Dress came out, a different song peaked at #2 on the Gaon chart. Momoland's blockbuster hit was in action. Took a while to fully take off, but once it did, it was everywhere. Black Dress was sandwiched between two of the year's biggest songs, Boom Boom and Bad Boy. The attention the comeback had restored was splintering into different directions. Black Dress's
Just
initial
bad
success
timing.
dissipated and never returned. After a few weeks, CLC once again left with no first win. However,
Ouch.
while CLC hadn't achieved a music show win, Black Dress brought them a different achievement: international interest. 2018 was one of the biggest years in international expansion. The Korean wave was going wild in America. Apparently, those 7 guys at Big Hit were making waves across the globe.
Those 7
BTS
guys.
stuck its hand in the dam of American music and broke the whole thing wide open. Subsequently, Red Velvet's Bad Boy charted high in the US, and now people were looking for the next comeback to sink their teeth into. Black Dress brought eyes all the way across the curvature of the earth to CLC, and their international fan base boomed. All CLC and Cube needed to do was not repeat the mistakes of the previous year.
No.
They needed at least one more comeback to stabilize what they had built the last 2 years. During that May, CLC was up to something. On their various Instagram accounts and other social media channels, CLC members began posting pictures of themselves posing with roses. In an unofficial setting, fans asked Sorn about a comeback, to which she hinted with the word flower. As long as Cube's attention span could stay on one group long enough to...
Oh my gosh, what is this? I didn't even see this either.
And then Cube debuted a new girl group.
Oh, G.
In May of 2018, Cube entered the 4th generation with G-Idol. Despite the confusing name, G-Idol's debut song, La Ta Ta, broke roughly 6 million views in its first week. It's since passed over 100 million, nearly 4 times the size of CLC's most viewed music video. G-Idol experienced near instant fame, both domestically and internationally. La Ta Ta was powerful, elegant, feminine, and a total banger. G-Idol's members were fresh out of their packaging and overflowing with presence. La Ta Ta was one of the most successful debuts of the year. It seemed that G-Idol was partially filling the vacuum left behind by Blackpink's hiatus, and were providing dark, mysterious concepts on top of eerie hip-hop music. Cube had a mega hit on their hands.
Damn, it must suck for the members of CLC to be like, you know, you worked hard for like 3 years.
Well, more. You
Yeah.
had your training years too. But
Yeah.
you've already debuted and you kind of...
It's not to say G-Idol, obviously they were hardworking too, but it's more like you probably are like, as a established group.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to
Yeah.
see your juniors outshine you and so fast as well.
Yeah.
Because you.
It must be bittersweet because they probably know each other and
Yeah.
they're happy for G Idol, but at the same time you're like, if Cube just invested in CLC, right?
Well, they're it's kind of like a bad timing and then also mismanagement a little bit. It sounds like they just like really went for the boy group, Pentagon, for that year.
Following the success of Pentagon's Shine, G Idol was Cube's new favorite child. G Idol's success brought them a comeback within half a year, and CLC's comeback was postponed so Cube could rake in that cash. And then the clusterfuck of August 2018 hit. Whatever happened to CLC's comeback? With the roses? Well, we all know what happened to that.
Wait, what?
This isn't like very high budget, is it?
Produce 48's final group, Eyes One, debuted with the song La Vie en Rose in August of 2018. The group's debut was one of the most anticipated of the year, and the song was a smash success. But
Wait,
So
they gave the song to Eyes One?
Is that what happened? Is that what she's saying?
That's the Eyes One song.
Yeah. Is it just that they had a similar concept?
Oh, so they had
and
to...
that CLCs no longer would be fresh?
Oh, maybe, we'll see.
then, a choreography demo was leaked, revealing an older version of the song recorded by CLC. The song was also written by Mosepick, the same people who wrote Black Dress. CLC's comeback never saw the light of day. Instead, the song was resold and given to Eyes One as their debut song, and Eyes One absolutely hit it out of the park, there's no denying it.
We saw Eyes on KCON at the weekend, right?
Yeah.
At this point, many fans of both fandoms have concluded that Cube's disregard for CLC would have caused the comeback to flop. Of course, we'll never know for sure, and the song sounds great either way, but where did that leave CLC? It seemed at that point that Cube had well and truly abandoned CLC. Unfortunately, that's not uncommon in the industry. Companies bench, jail, and disband groups all the time just because the money says so. CLC's success had seemed cursed from the very beginning. Their debut was completely drowned out, and the following comebacks were unremarkable. This insufficient start has plagued CLC and Cube throughout their entire career. Hobgoblin brought CLC's success to new heights, but previous financial disasters, poor management decisions, and blatant favoritism crippled that success. Finally, Black Dress lost the battle to more popular songs, CLC lost the battle to more popular groups, and the generation rolled over. The only thing CLC took home that year was a certification as ambassadors to the Korean Insulin-Dependent Diabetes Association. So yeah, there's that. 2019.
Oh god, I actually thought that Mera was wrapping up the video there. I forgot that we were only in 2018.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it should be good
So
news
yeah,
from here, right?
things don't really look so good. The hiatus outgrew the year and spread into a new one. The fear of disbandment hangs over the whole fandom. And so far, that's the story of CLC.
This disbandment? No.
Ha, you fucking thought? Soyeon and Yeon had a brain baby called No, which became the A-track for their 8th Korean EP. The music showed a fresher, cleaner concept somewhere outside of Badass and Girl Crush, outside of all their previous releases. The song improves upon their EDM sound and allows the music to rely on CLC's vocals, a skill they've been credited for since debut. And it not only hit number 5 on Billboard, it brought CLC their first ever music show win 4 years after debut. And Cube was like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on over here? This year alone, CLC has had 3 comebacks and 1 EP. Their other comebacks include digital single Me, which followed their new sound from No. On September 26th, CLC had their most recent comeback, Devil. And finally, Cube, CLC's team, and CLC demonstrated that they learned from Where Are You? Devil was hailed by fans as a proper concept change by providing a truly pop song while also investing in subtly dark concepts and images. The song's lyrics and video theme are reminiscent of their Bad Girl phase, while the colors and peppy sound call back to 2015. And now, you're all caught up. I'm quite sure I don't have all the information on CLC or Cube for that matter, but that seems to be the tip of the iceberg. No, CLC aren't out of the woods yet. They still don't have a full studio album or enough wins to compete with their label mates. It'll take more successful comebacks to make everyone feel comfortable. But after everything, CLC is still here, and 2019 has been an incredibly successful year for them.
Did CLC get a win with Helicopter too?
I will say this for CLC. Groups who aren't 100% successful right off the block end up becoming stronger groups in the long run and better artists. And CLC's current flavor is one that only CLC could possibly pull off. Every comeback, the members get stronger, more confident, and more secure. Are CLC underrated? Maybe not so much anymore. A more accurate word might be underappreciated. I think Cheshires themselves can express this much better than I can, whether or not CLC gets what they deserve. The current obsession with music video views makes everything look worse than they are. CLC are well liked in Korea, and are beginning to attract even more international attention. They have a dedicated, if slightly starved, fan base, and have had one hell of a great year. Sometimes one good year is all you need. Sometimes you need a bit more, and I think Cube would be foolish to bench them again for another year. But from my perspective, CLC are doing pretty damn well for themselves, and I've got every faith they're going to keep forging their own path in the industry. Good luck, girls. We're rooting for you. That's all from me, signing off.
I'm like hanging on. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is over, but just in case. Okay, it's definitely over. Oh, I feel so bad for them. Like, I've kind of wondered this from the outset in terms of why did they have to rebrand in 2017? And then even like as we go through their MVs, like with the Tees, for example, we already know there's like 10 music videos at least for us to go through. With CLC, I'm not even sure we have that many, and they've been active so long, right?
Yeah, and they don't have a studio album yet. Like,
yeah, we noticed that as well. We're like, they have no album.
We want an album. We want an album.
Yeah, it's kind of like, it's almost like the Blackpink model, as in fans are starved for content, but instead of it kind of enhancing their status, it's like really like detracting, right? Yeah. Yeah, I feel so. Yeah, as we said, I feel sorry for the girls, especially if their label mates, who are technically more junior than them, are getting more support from the company, but also succeeding and getting that kind of public recognition, because that's hard.
Well, it's just stupid business decisions too. Like, you know, when Hobgoblin came out, like, if you're a smart business person, you just be like, yo, we can build on that. Instead, they had a group that stagnated for a whole year, and then they had to like rebuild from the ground up. It's like, if you have the momentum, use it to, it just seems kind of dumb not to do that. Like,
but I think now, like, because obviously we found them via TikTok, but we found them post Helicopter, so it seems like they've had consistent comebacks. They're kind of more solidified on their sound or the vibe they're going for, and Helicopter seemed like high production.
Yeah, so we'll have to look up if they won or not.
Because we're not sure about the stats. But yeah, so from our perspective, it kind of seems like they're really slow out of the starting blocks, but like kind of picking up. Maybe they're the tortoise. Maybe all the other groups are the hares, and CLC are the tortoise. They're going to ultimately win out.
But they're the tortoise with lots of obstacles in their way.
The other thing is, though, that a lot of contracts in the K-pop industry are 7 years, and CLC are in their coming to the end of their 5th year, I guess. Yeah.
So are is the company like invested in like trying to get them a studio album or something if they're almost like done with their contract? Yeah, I wonder.
Well, is CLC, like, is Cube thinking about them in a long-term way, or are they thinking about them as a group that's going to be disbanded within 2 years? Anyway, so this wasn't. I feel like this is I'm not really sure this is a happy ending video.
No, it's a story still being written.
Yeah, and I hope. Yeah, I like CLC. I feel like one of the problems is that there's less tangible things to look at in terms of like the quantity of MVs. Yeah. Because for other groups, the exploration stage seems larger. Yep. Whereas CLC seems a little bit smaller, and. yeah, I hope they have a comeback soon.
Yeah.
Now I feel anxious. Maybe we won't hear from them again.
Yeah.
Right?
Like the next thing we know is like, oh no, disbandment. Ah.
Oh god. Anyway, guys, so I think on that kind of semi-depressing note, we'll end the video. We'll be back later in the week with another CLC reaction because we're still exploring their music.
Yeah, we'll be checking out me.
Oh, and yeah, if you guys want to be notified when that drops, be sure to hit the subscribe button. We put out plenty of K-pop related content throughout the week as well, so if you're just a general fan, then yeah, but nice, shiny, what a press. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks, bye.